All right, this is trying to replace the pump mechanism, the sliding part in this Sheridan Blue Streak here. So step one is to take out these tension rivets. I just got them stored in there for now. And the end cap, a few more rivets in there. You can use a nail punch. For some of them I just use this galvanized nail. Once you get them about halfway out, vice grips can pull them the rest of the way out. So you've got to free the pump lever from the air rifle, and then once you get the wooden stock out, then you proceed to remove the hardware from here. And the issue is this rivet right here, and these are very hard to come by. But what they do is they keep this lever in place when you're pumping. So this is just some 1/4 inch aluminum, maybe an 1/8 actually. That's yeah, I think it's an 1/8. That goes in between this piece of hardware, so that as you're hitting it with the ball peen hammer, you don't inadvertently crunch the metal. But again, the challenge is this thing right here, and so you've got to get it to go in, you've got to get it to sink a little bit. You need it to come out proud enough on the other side that you can peen it over. So when I put the rivet in there, I think I've got some other ones, they kind of start with a little bit of a depression. So I dropped that in, and then I tried to expand it out by just slightly peening it with a with a punch in there to try to get that divot to expand, and then get this metal to expand, so that it came out this side pretty well. And then when it comes to trying to peen this over, when you've got it sitting a bit proud, the problem is that when you start to peen it here, it's going to come out the backside. So and you want to keep that a little bit recessed in a cavity there. So what I did was I put an old screw into the vise here, and as you can kind of imagine, the screw head kind of fits into that recessed area. So you want to keep that screw head kind of in contact with the back side of that rivet, so that then when you're peening this over, and I used both sides, carefully tapping this guy. You don't want to hit the main part. A bunch of little taps is best. 3 or 4 wild whacks is not going to do you any good. If you can just keep tapping that metal, get the molecules excited and moving, it'll start to take shape for you. I do not recommend just smacking the thing, because you're going to do nothing but harm. So just keep tapping. I can't really tap this thing because it's in location, but that's what I was doing there every once in a while. Those kind of taps. Takes a while, but anyway, then you'll hopefully start to see that rivet deform and mushroom out. And importantly, you're trying to keep this side of this rivet recessed in that small cavity there, because again, if you start pushing this guy out before it has a chance to mushroom, it's going to travel out of that cavity. So then you just can't get that mushroom effect, because as soon as you start to dead blow on that thing, it's going to come out this side. Even if this side's perfectly flat, it's going to want to come out, you know, whatever that is, a fraction of a millimeter. You need the fraction of the millimeter being proud here to get this to mushroom out. So my technique was to put something that's more or less matches the profile of that rivet and that kind of peened or depressed area, and then just kind of get that resting right there. You can see I'm moving it back and forth, and you can hear it rattle because it's in there, right? It's in there. So then I could do this if I wasn't holding the phone. You just keep one hand on this pump slide, whatever you want to call it, and then you use your ball peen hammer to try to get that other side of the rivet to mushroom out. And this extra material you see listed here, or excuse me, see displayed there, that's just some solder that I dripped on in one of my earlier attempts to see if I could kind of make the solder marry the rivet. So I could get that off of the file or sand it, but I'm just going to leave it there for now. But the key is to get this thing to mushroom over wide enough to cover the hole that it came through. And as far as I can tell, the best way to do that is to have something like this on the back side of that rivet, so that when you start to hit it, it stays in place. I don't recommend just trying it on a flat iron surface like that, because it'll come out before it mushrooms, and then it just won't hold. So, alrighty, hopefully that helps somebody out. And now I'm gonna reassemble this guy and pump it up, and then we'll see how it works. My last resort was going to be if these rivets weren't working, because again, they're hard to come by. I'm pretty sure that guy's 1/4 of an inch, so I picked up a 1/4 inch bolt here, cut it off, and was kind of playing with it to see if I could get it to peen over and mushroom. I started to right there, just a kind of a proof of concept thing. But if you're having trouble locating the rivet for the Sheridan Blue Streak, you know, a 1/4 inch bolt. I haven't gone this far yet. Hopefully I don't need to, but I was going to cut it there and cut it there, so that you've got some solid material, non-threaded, and get it into the holes there, and then just peen it, and hopefully you can peen both sides of that. You know, again, expand one side by putting a punch into it, holding it in place like you know, I demonstrated on the vise there on top of that old screw head, and then try to peen over the other side. This hole here, two sides, that hole is a wider diameter than this hole. So if you use this route, what you would need to do is put this on an angle grinder or even a belt sander and narrow down this end of your homemade rivet so you can get it to fit through this hole, which is narrower, or it's smaller diameter than that side. Okay, so you'd want to have to just reduce the diameter of this a little bit so it can poke through and be proud, and then try to get that to peen so that it'll hold into that slide mechanism. So, all right, we'll put this guy back together, and hopefully it works. And we've got a few more years left in this 70-year-old Sheridan Blue Streak 5mm air rifle.